Hawaiian. Just get. Oh, Hawaiian. Oh, Hawaiian. All right. How's it? I'm Junior Kekuewa. Junior, welcome to the podcast. Our podcast is now heard in 53 countries. Was it 53 or 54? One of the two. But anyway, no, I wanted to share some stats with you guys before we do any of that. Of course, the attitude of gratitude. Okay, let's go. Attitude of gratitude. And we'd like to thank everybody in our countries. Okay, the last few countries we have, it doesn't give me the full reading anymore. So we got India, Germany, Mexico, Canada, Japan, United Kingdom. And Apple Podcast is at 56%. Wow. Apple Podcast used to be like 89%. And then Spotify started taking over. Now, for you guys that are doing music and stuff, you guys know how valuable that is, right? Web browsers, only 8% of people listen to us on web browsers. So that's becoming very old school. iHeartRadio is 8%, Anchor is 3%, and then other is 12%. Now, the other are a lot of other sources or other outlets that carry us. One of them in India, who's really, India has really brought in a lot of people, and it's called Ghana, Gaana. And they also have their neighboring countries listening to us. Our demos are primarily 28 to dead with a few 18 to 27 year olds, just a few of them. Over 13,000 plays in the last 48 hours. And that's our norm. Now that the male female ratio is 89% male, 11% female. So the females, I don't know, females just kind of dropped for a second and then they came back, and now I don't know if they're coming back or whatever. But thank you for tuning into the podcast. And today we're going to talk about some LOA basics. Now, one of my clients is in Romania, and she was terribly confused at some of the things that she's seen, law of attraction, and she was overthinking everything. Now, the majority of my clients since I opened my voice school 33 years ago, have been female, okay? Because here's the thing about voice school, okay? We're going to kind of talk about voice first, and then we're going to talk about the law of attraction and what the correlation is. And see, a lot of people have this in their head. They go, well, if I learn to sing, if I learn to speak in front of audiences or sing in front of people, it's going to make me more confident. But they don't know exactly how it works, okay? So this is not the voice podcast, so we're not going to dive deep into that. But let's just say that I use one exercise that I use in voice training for life coaching, and it totally calms the brain. And this is because of endorphins and oxytocin, and it gets kind of deep in that area. But like I said, this is the law of attraction, right? Okay, so how does that help you with the law of attraction? Well, if you are like, we have a local term in Hawaii that we say scatterbrains, right? If you're scatterbrains, okay, that means you're thinking about, multiple thoughts and here, this and that and whatever. And girls go through this. Females are multitaskers. They're not like us. We can focus on one thing and think about it like all day long, right? And it's usually about chicks, right? No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, we can really focus on that one thing. Women were designed to have young, and that's why they can multitask the way they do, right? But when you have a flood of thoughts, and then you have another flood of thoughts, and another flood of thoughts, and these thoughts are really negative, then what do you have to do? Well, you get overwhelmed. And what do females do when they're overwhelmed? They cry. Okay. Now, there's nothing like a good cry for a female. Okay. Now, if you're a dude and if you're having good cries, maybe you need some life coaching. I don't know. But, you can hit me up. Okay. That's not normal. That's not normal. Okay. And I know what they're saying is, men can cry. Yeah, men can cry. The time that I have, I guess the most times that I have cried is when I've either, like this, I remember this one time years and years ago, right? I was with my uncle, and it was because, my uncle was telling me stuff and whatever. And, my uncle it's a long and we don't want to go too far on the left, but I cried because it was my uncle. right? There has been times that, recently, in fact, a friend, right, that I knew I was wrong, and I apologized, and I cried because that was my friend. I mean, like, for a long time, I mean, not friend as in buddy kind of thing, but somebody who helped me a lot. He helped me immensely, right? And then, and there's other times too, like, I gotta tell you, Hawaiians, there's some movies that I have seen, especially when I was younger, right? That I sit there and I'm like, okay, hold on back, cause the movie's kind of sad, you know what I mean? Or it touches you, it touches you. Now, vibration, going back to the thing, right? Vibration is very important, okay? And here's the thing. I did not recognize this. It was brought to my attention by somebody else. And we, are very in tune with vibration. And vibration is part of the law of attraction, because if you're not on the same vibration as what it is you're trying to attract or bring into your life, then you're not going to get it. Okay. And this is why when I was, years and years ago, when I was doing different stuff, this was before the entertainment popularity thingy, whatever you want to call it, right? Way before that, and I was driving a $400 Toyota, right? And I was trying to, I didn't even know about the law of attraction as the law of attraction, right? I knew about it as my uncle taught me this stuff in seminars. But I was driving this $400 Toyota, and then it moved up, and then it was it was a Jeep Cherokee, right? And then it moved up, and then it was a Nissan Maxima, right? And all of these cars, like, because I was conditioned, right, to drive a good used car. That was my thinking. Okay, I was brainwashed into that, right? Now, you could say brainwashed, it's a harsh term, but people are conditioned into it, because if you were born in a house, right? If you had parents that always sat around and go, oh, so-and-so, you just bought a new car. Bad. As soon as he drove off the lot, the thing depreciated 20 grand or whatever it is, right? So, I mean, it doesn't matter what the amount is, right? But when you hear people talk like that, then what do you think? You think like, oh, wow, when I get older, I'm going to find the best used car I can. And that was my thinking for a long time, right? Now, the thing that changed was my vibration. When I started practicing the law of attraction, the thing that changes my vibration, I can tell you right now that since 2006, with 2006 till now, okay, I'm very bad because of my ADHD. I'm very bad with time and space. It's just the way we are. Okay. And I got to all my ADHD brothers out there and sisters out there, I got you guys, no worries. But yeah, so since 2006 till now, the only thing I know is that I always have new car smell. That's the only thing I really know. The cars have changed. The levels of cars have changed. In fact, the car back in 2006 was a really nice, expensive sports car, and I wasn't having a, what do you call that? Midlife crisis or anything. I was too young for that, right? But it just kept going. And here's what I learned, that it's because I raised my vibration, and all these good things started coming into my life. And I gotta say that as far as drama, well, people say drama. What they mean is ongoing problems, like problems that persist, like persistent problems, or, sometimes you have a girlfriend that gives you drama. I really never had girlfriends that I had this one that gave me drama. I think, well, there was a couple of them. I think I can think of like 3. And this was, like I said, this was before all of this stuff, right? When I was learning. And let me tell you, you're gonna learn, Hawaiians, okay? You're gonna learn. And you guys listening in Japan right now, you guys are honorary Hawaiians, okay? So you're gonna learn, okay? Because you have what's called a life path, and nobody can affect your life path. I mean, nobody can prevent you from getting to where you're going if you have your intention set on where you're gonna go. Okay, I mean, period, right? I'll give you an example. Like my mom, right? I love my mom to death. My mom is just she's really, really so cool, right? And when I was younger, she wanted me to go, in her path, on her path. And I said, no, I'm going to do this over here. And for the longest time, we couldn't see eye to eye because she was mad because I didn't go her way. right? And I was mad because she wanted me to go her way, right? And all these things. And then I'm like, no, I'm going to follow my heart. I'm going that way, and let me tell you, Hoynes, and I said this on another broadcast that I just did. You have to follow your heart, but your heart is going to be a more difficult experience. It's going to be a more challenging experience, but it's going to be the most rewarding experience of your life. Okay. And you guys out there that are entrepreneurs, you guys out there that are doing your own thing, you guys, that maybe, I don't know, your parents had expectations for you and then you had other expectations and you achieved them. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Now, there's a lot of things that work in the law of attraction, but they're very simple. You guys, it is so simple. There are 3 things that human beings do not do enough of. Okay? Speak it into existence, write it into existence, and think it into existence. Okay? So you have to have your mind on the goal. You have to pursue the goal. Baby steps. Like I always tell you guys, you can't take giant leaps, because if you do that and you make the wrong leap, because trust me, Hines, I've been there, you got to correct a big leap, right? So baby steps. It's kind of like sticking your foot in the swimming pool to see how cold the water is. It's like, oh, too cold. Okay, I'm not going to jump in. See? But if you jump in, it's too late. That's my only analogy for that. But my client in Romania was telling me like, oh, I watched this person, that person, and then this other person, and I don't know who to believe. I don't know what to do. And they're all saying different things. Yeah, they're kind of saying the same thing. They're presenting it in a different way. The job of a teacher is to break things down so that a child of 5 can understand. I teach 3-year-old children, and not very many people. This one lady told me recently. She told me, I was looking, for somebody to teach my granddaughter, because she can sing, but she needs somebody to guide her and teach her and whatever. So I'm like, oh, no problem. And so I have her as a client now, right? And she's 3 years old. She goes, nobody else would train a 3-year-old. They all started at 5. And I'm like, well, because they don't know how. Look, if you're not, on the real, I'm not hating on them. I'm just saying, if you either know how to work with a 3-year-old or you don't. And if you don't, it's because you don't have patience. Okay. And there's a couple of other skills you need to work with a 3-year-old. Okay. But, unks can break things down to 3-year-old level. Okay. And, if you can, I want to say meet the 3-year-old at their level, you can work with any 3-year-old. So here's the thing that happened in the old days, right? In the old days, people were, and this is the subject is law of attraction, but right now I'm just going to say that in the old days, we dismissed 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds. Why? Because we thought they were just, they were just little babies, and we treated them like little babies. And what was the result? They were just little babies. Okay. Now you have, YouTube, right? You go on YouTube and you see these 3-year-olds doing amazing things. You see a 4-year-old drummer drumming just as good as an adult, right? And all this stuff, right? Okay. So somebody had the patience to sit down and work with that child. You see what I'm saying? And you have to have the patience and you have to have the know-how. But patience is a big part of it. Okay. Because it's almost like people who have children. And then, there's people who have children that are not really meant to have children, and I was a dad for one summer. And, I was the good fun dad, with my son. I took him to the store, bought him toys every day. We went to the store every day. And when he went home, and he was 5. And when he went home, his mom, just gave me this blistering phone call about how I sent him home with tons of toys, right? And I was like, and why didn't I buy him clothes? And I'm like, well, he's with you all of the time. I get to see him for 2 months. I bought him toys. It's good fun time. You see what I'm saying? But anyway, and that's just an example, but what I'm saying is I haven't been a dad. I have a son, right? But I haven't been a dad. And so I have no experience with that. I have no, so this is not about, being a good parent or whatever. No, it's about relating to a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old. And what we do now and what we know now in society and in education and in, our world, right, is that 3-year-olds can pick up on all kinds of stuff. And what you need to do is you need to feed their interest, whatever it is. You need to feed their interest. Just feed their interest. One of my clients has a child, and she said, I don't know what I'm going to do with her, but she does this and this and this. And I said, just feed her interest. Keep, if that's what she likes, then get her more of that. Yeah, if she likes those books, buy more of those books. Just feed her interest. And of course, there's things that are being done with children today that I'm not down with or agree on. And this is not the place. This is not the podcast for that. But I'm just saying, children were very underestimated and dismissed in the old days. And that's not the case anymore. And that's why we're seeing all these little geniuses, because it's a very special thing to be a human being. And one of the things that, I guess we were led away from is the law of attraction. And, there's more to it than just, law of attraction. You just, you attract what you want and you get it. No, there's a law of vibration. There's all this kind of stuff. But what I'm saying is, like, back when I had the $400 Toyota, okay, it was impossible for me to attract, the Cadillac or the Mercedes or the BMW or the Porsche or whatever, because I just wasn't at that level. Okay, I wasn't at that vibrational level. Okay, so here's what you need to know about vibration. And I found this out when I went to, I had this girlfriend. In fact, I dedicated my book to her because she was the reason. She gave me this DVD on The Secret, right? And then I, put it in the DVD, and then the rest, as they say, is history. But before that, my uncle was telling me the same things, but The Secret is a brand. Just like Junior Kekuewa Jr. is a brand. The Secret is a brand. And so everybody calls it The Secret, right? It's The Secret, the law of attraction. Well, there's 12 spiritual laws, universal laws that are also spiritual laws, but they're universal laws. And we're not going to go into all of that and bore you with the details. But people know, The Secret, right? Because of its popularity in the brand name. And they go, oh yeah, The Secret, bro. Yeah, we do The Secret all the time and all. Yeah, we positive in our house, okay? Positive thinking is one thing. Here's what happened. I was going with this girl, right? And then we broke up. I'm not even going to go into why, because that was a circus. But anyway, so I had fallen in love with her daughters, and her daughters are so cool, and they were little kids at the time. And I told her, just bring the girls and I'll take care of them and bring them to the school, and you had no charge, it's on the house, whatever. And just to keep them out of trouble, because her girls were headed for intermediate and high school at the time. And so she did that, right? And so I saw her once a week, and saw the kids once a week and everything. The kids kept out of trouble. They did singing and music, and sometimes they did acting, whatever. They did all these creative things, and they had this outlet that was my office. And actually my school was just a room in the office. The office served other purposes, but yeah, there was this one room that was, some people call it my studio. They used to say that, hey, we came down to your studio, and I'm like, oh, okay. But anyway, and that was the purpose, right? But along the way, there was this one time where one of these girls were in a pageant. So I said, oh, okay, yeah, of course I'm going to support, right? So went down to the pageant, okay? And that's when I saw it. That's when I saw it at the pageant, right? And what I saw at the pageant is I saw my ex, with her guy, right? And I noticed how different her vibe was, okay? So vibration. And I noticed how different her vibe was. And then I looked around the room, right? And I go, wow, these people around the room, it was a mixed audience, right? And some of these people, certain kind of vibe and and you kind of look, and when you're used to, or when you're awareness, right? When you become aware of certain vibrations, you can tell, right? You can tell who is in a low vibration. You can tell who's in a high vibration, and you can actually sense an audience. And I'll tell you, there was a time when I performed in front of an audience, and this audience was comprised of, I want to say, people that are at least 4 or 5, 6 years older than I was. And I said something, okay, I'm not going to get into it on the podcast, but I said something in a joking manner. And it wasn't anything bad or making fun of anybody or anything like that. And I said something, and this sweeping vibe came across the audience and just hit me. And I'm like, oh, boy, I don't want to say anything like that again, right? And not in front of these guys, but these guys are the older guys, okay? And there's peer groups and whatever. It breaks down into other things, but you can feel the vibe, right? And I started looking, and when I left, the girl that I brought with me, right? She's telling me, did you notice the vibration? And I said, yeah. And for a long time, I had been by myself. My best friend and I had lived together for a while, and girls would come in and out, kind of thing. But the kind of work that I'm how do I put this? The kind of work that I do and stuff like that requires the kind of commitment that you just cannot hang with people. You can't go out and party. I mean, and I've said this before, like, if you're the kind of person that is, always out if you're living for the weekend, right? You're living for the weekend, and on the weekdays, you just do what you got to do and, work. On the weekend, you're gone and you're out partying. Don't expect a significant level of success or anything, right? And also, you have to be aware of your vibration, okay? So vibration plays a part in it. And it was at that moment that I really noticed the vibration, because I was going, wow, she is so different now. And I couldn't tell. You can't tell somebody's vibration when they're around you, right? Because they're always around you. And chances are you guys are at the same vibration, because, that's just the way it is, okay? Like attracts like. So, and I, for the longest time always, when she gave me the DVD on the Secret, I kept it in my top drawer. I mean, the story's in my book. You can go read it. You can read it for free if you have Kindle. But I kept it in my top drawer. And the reason why was because I was having a great time and I didn't want any more responsibility. And knowledge, with knowledge comes responsibility. In other words, if you know better, you're responsible to that. And I didn't want to be responsible to anything else. And at the time, I was enjoying the rut I was in. And I was in a lower vibration. Although my vibration was getting better, I was still in a lower vibration. And I would say than I am today, right? And of course, if you're getting older and you're improving in vibration, that's a good thing. But anyway, what I'm saying is that, yeah, you can tell. Okay, so like attracts like. If you're, look around, and that's why people say this. They say, show me your 5 closest friends, and I'll show you who you are. Right? Okay, I don't even have 5 closest friends. I don't even have that. Okay, I have friends that I have people I know. Okay, so my life breaks down more like this. I had one best friend that we worked on project together. We worked on music together. We worked on teaching together. We worked on everything together. Okay. So there was no time for, people used to invite me to parties and stuff like that. And pretty soon they stopped inviting me because I didn't go. But I had a choice, right? And the choice was, okay, you can either work on your routines, you can either practice your music, you can either work on your guitar, or you can go party for 4 or 5 hours or whatever, and then your night is gone, and you come home and you sleep, and you lost a night of practice and stuff, right? Now, I did start to balance out my, social calendar, you could say, for a while. I did for a while. And then afterwards I said, no, I used to go to these industry, what they call industry events. So I'm talking about entertainment industry, broadcast industry. They're all kind of combined and they all kind of work hand in hand. And I, it just, the kind of, crowd just wasn't my kind of crowd. It just wasn't the kind of thing that I, just personal, just for me. And so I didn't go, cause I would see the guys, hey, let's work on this project together. And then you follow up, okay, well, I thought they're going to work with the project together with me. Okay, well, let's shoot them an email and follow up. And you follow up and it goes nowhere, right? Like, oh, bro, all the time, Owens. And so I got tired of the plastic. I got tired of the just to be seen kind of thing. Because there's a lot of people in the entertainment industry that just want to be seen. And there's other people in the entertainment industry that really just want to do their music and they want to entertain and they want to perfect their craft. And those are the guys that I love to be around because I learn. Right. And I did a lot of that. I hung out with the best of the best. And I learned from the best. I mean, they say, well, you hang with the best, you learn from the best, or you follow the best, whatever, that kind of thing. So yeah, if you're going to find a mentor or you're going to pattern yourself after something, okay, let's say you want to be, up in the $100,000 a year bracket, okay? You're not going to hang with the guys in the $50,000 a year bracket. You're just not. And it sounds terrible at the onset, right? You hear something like that and you go, what? You mean I gotta let go of these guys? No, you don't really have to let go of those guys. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to start hanging around with the $100,000 a year guys, okay? Or above, whatever your goal is, okay? I'm just using that as a round figure. And you're going to hang around with those guys. Eventually, your vibration is going to raise to theirs. Eventually, you are going to start talking like them. You're going to start thinking like them. These guys that, the kind of people that I know now, and some of them I refer to friends. They're not really friends. They're more like either, acquaintances. They're not even, I don't even hang with colleagues anymore. I don't have any colleagues. I've retired from entertainment and I think I pretty much retired from radio. I don't know. I did a little radio and I haven't gotten the call back yet. So, it's like acting. You wait for your call back. If you don't get your call back, then you don't go, right? And I didn't get my call back. I have no idea what happened or whatever. But so I don't even really have colleagues anymore. I don't have, I'm just retired from all that stuff. Right now, I have different kind of colleagues now. I have digital colleagues and most of those are subcontractors. So these guys aren't really, people that I would hang around with or have discussions with or whatever. I just hire them for jobs. They do the job, everything. And it's completed and that's it. Move on to the next thing. But, and it's very different when you don't have to work with people. I mean, in person, like just online, boom, 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 and think, in the beginning, there's a big trust issue. And then you learn to trust and then, you kind of go along and, oh, okay, this worked. Oh, thank God, that kind of thing. But I don't really have colleagues or I don't. So there's nobody to go hang out with now. But back in the day, yeah, there were a lot of times that I did go. And, I sat around and I'm thinking to myself, I could be working on some songs right now. I could be writing some music right now. I could be, doing stuff that, amounted to the albums that we have up on iTunes right now kind of thing. During COVID, I'll give you an example. And I'll give you an example of what happens when you're not that out there to the party guy, okay? When you're not that, Mr. Aloha guy or whatever it is, okay? So during COVID, I had time, okay? Because everybody had time. We had lockdown, right? So instead of just, being locked down and going crazy and being paranoid and, the communists are coming to invade us or whatever. I don't know. A lot of people had different ideas. And you see this stuff on social media, right? I decided to be productive. And so I put out 3 albums. During COVID. And here's what was really funny. Nobody, and I mean not one person, I put them up on my social media. I think I put them up on my Facebook, and I put them up on my link. No, I didn't put them up on LinkedIn until way later. But I put them up on my Facebook when I released it, right? And not one person, and I mean not one person, went, "Hey, congratulations." Not one, Hawaiians. Not one. Okay? And that's what happens when you're not out there shaking hands and kissing babies. Now, there's a lot of people on my Facebook. There's a lot of people that are friendly with me on Facebook. There's a lot of people, and when artists put out their CDs and stuff, if I see it in my feed, I will say congratulations. Just the other day, I saw an entertainer, two entertainers, that they just bought a house, and I congratulated them, and I was sincere about it. You know what I'm saying? And here's another thing. When I was on the radio, right, there was this joke. I didn't know it was a joke, but there was this joke, thoughts and prayers, and I thought that meant like if somebody got hurt and you would send thoughts and prayers, right? And one day I happened to mention this to the guy whose show it was that I was on. And I said, "Oh yeah, I saw this happened to so-and-so and whatever." And I sent thoughts and prayers, and he goes, "Oh no, that doesn't mean that." And I'm like, "What?" I'm like, okay, so, in one sense, I have shut myself off from a lot of stuff, right? Because of the focus that I have to apply to whatever it is that I do. Okay. And back in the day, it was music and entertainment, and and then after my friend died, it's been digital everything, right? But I guess the point is, luckily I did not put thoughts and prayers to people that I see online that are passing away, and their relatives are passing away and stuff. But that was just an example, right? But I don't know the latest trends. I don't know the latest fads. I don't know the latest things. I don't go to movies. I don't watch television. I just don't. I read books. I listen to audiobooks. I do other forms of learning. And the other half, teaching. So I learn over here, I teach over there. Learn over here, teach over there. I mean, that's all I basically do now. And so, but not one congratulations for the 3 albums, right? And they were put out, I think we put out 1 album a month, something like that. We put out one, and there's another album coming out in November, right? And so, after the first album, right, I was like, okay, whatever. I mean, and I thought, wow, not even one guy, not even one guy going, "Hey, right on," or whatever, right? And so I was like, okay. The next album didn't bother me. The following album didn't bother me. And I'm like, and I laugh all the way to the bank now when I see the publishing coming in, right? And it's mostly, it used to be sales in the old days. Like people would just buy my album, not in Hawaii. In Singapore, people in Singapore are the number one people that buy my music. They just click, then they buy the whole album. And don't ask me why. I don't know anybody in Singapore. But if you're in Singapore listening to this right now, thank you. Thank your friends for me. And just know that, yeah, Singapore supports me, and I'm very, very grateful. But, what really makes money now is the streaming. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Verizon, we're on all these streaming platforms, Spotify, all this stuff where you get the podcast from. And then when you click, if you enter the Junior Kekuewa Junior Show in Google, it will bring up pages and pages and pages of different podcasts outlets that carry our podcast. And we're very grateful to them. And that's the other percentage, that I mentioned in the beginning of the podcast. But so I don't have a huge what can I say? How can I put this? I don't. Yeah, my music doesn't sell in Hawaii. It sells outside. Basically, I've always had to work the outside in. But here's the law of attraction part, right? Okay, these things that I have been able to do in the 3 albums during, COVID, when entertainers were put out of business, and myself as well. I was put out of business. We couldn't do any shows anymore. Everything was shut down, right? But then I put out 3 albums, because I'm not gonna, sit back and just do nothing and, whatever. But these are things that we worked on for years and years and years. So the baby steps are like recording the songs. The baby steps are like planning the album. The baby steps are like visualizing what the cover is going to look like. The baby steps are like visualizing how many albums do you want? How many albums do you want to put up? And I had great examples to follow. There was this group from Hawaii. They were a duo, and I think they did 40 some odd albums, and I was like, in my head I was like, whoa, that's pretty good. Maybe I could do at least 20. You know what I mean? But realistically, we don't have enough material for that. I don't have that kind of material. But I am planning on doing an unplugged CD one day, maybe. See how I feel. But during that time in which I was, doing the radio stuff, it was a good time because I started practicing because I had to play in public again. Now I don't have to play in public again. So I kind of put the guitar down, and that's like, that's not happening right now. So, but I use the guitar to heal, and that's the vibration. Okay. That's the vibrational healing that I do. And that's what induces the endorphins and the oxytocin and the brain chemistry that settles people inside. And then the law of attraction works naturally because you attract who you are. Okay. So yeah, when you're on a different frequency, okay, because I know these people, I know these people who I've seen them climb the ladder, if you will, right? And all that means is that they make more money now. They do more things now. They own more stuff now. They whatever, right? And I see these guys going up and up, and some of them have very high vibrations, and some of them don't. Okay, if you ever read the book, if you ever get a chance to read the book, The Science of Getting Rich, I read that years ago. You should pick up a copy of that, and online it's accessible. If not, just email me and I'll send you a copy. I'll send you a PDF copy. The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, right, says that a moron can get rich. A smart guy can get rich. Like anybody can get rich. I mean, getting rich is not the thing, Hawaiians, okay? And I was talking to somebody about this. I was talking to one of my clients about this on Sunday. And I said, you know what? It's your family. It's your, in fact, yesterday I had another client that we had this conversation. I said, it's your family, it's your kids, it's the people that love you. You got to put energy into that. You got to feed that, and that will bring everything. Because, there's nothing worse than being stuck down the road with just a bunch of things. I mean, really, I've said this before. I have guitars that I can't even play. I mean, I can play them, I could bring them home. The problem is with the guitars I got at home, I start playing and halfway through the song, I stop and I just put it down. I put it back in the stand. And the only time I really use it is when I teach. Okay. So, and it's not because my vibration went down. It's because I'm doing another thing, right? I'm doing other things right now. And that's where the energy goes, right? So attention flows where energy goes where attention flows, or something like whatever. Attention goes where energy flows, something like that. But anyway, that's I keep getting that one mixed up. But whatever you focus on intensifies. Okay, so the law of attraction is really, really simple. Okay, first think about it in your head. Know exactly what you want. Most people don't know what they want. That's a loaded question. You ask somebody, okay, what do you really want out of life? If you would have asked me that question 30 years ago, I would have told you, I want to do a show in Waikiki. Okay, boom, done. Right? Done. Now, when I got to Waikiki, and this is the irony of a lot of it, but it's also the explanation on why it went the way it went. When I got to Waikiki and I saw, Waikiki is its own animal. For you guys overseas, Waikiki is an area on the island of Oahu in Hawaii where there's hotels and beaches and there used to be a lot of entertainment venues. Now it's mostly activities and rent a car and go around the island and that kind of thing. But back in the day, it was different. And back in the day, there was a lot of entertainment venues, and that's what I saw, and that's what I wanted to do. And that's what I pursued. And so finally, when we did get to Waikiki, right, talk about vibration. When we got to Waikiki, my manager, who was female, started talking to these guys that worked in the showroom, and they started telling her like how much they got paid, and they didn't get paid very good, but at least it was a job, and it's their part-time job. Anyway, they started telling her all, giving us all kinds of inside information. Meanwhile, we were being like charged double in some cases, where I had to write a letter to the guy at one point and go, hey, come on, man, look, I mean, we're no threat to you, that kind of thing. But anyway, that happened, and we saw the mechanics of what happened inside Waikiki, not just with our show, but with all the shows. And we actually saw the environment, and we saw, what was going on. And anyway, so when these things get revealed to you, right? And to make a long story short, on Waikiki, we couldn't get the cooperation because we were the outsiders. We came in from the outside. See, the guys who were on the inside were on the inside for a long time, and they controlled everything. And there were 3 companies that controlled all the entertainment in that area. And so, of course, we were the outsiders. We didn't expect anybody to bow down to us, but we thought we had something viable where we could have made somebody else money or whatever, some kind of, just some kind of, working together with some other company or whatever. And that never happened, and that was all good. But we did get the wedding and party business. And that actually led people to believe that we were in the entertainment business. And so when we went through all of those stages, right, the wedding and party business paid for Waikiki for all of 2 shows. And at that point, we borrowed money for 2 shows. And then we paid them back, I don't know, I think a couple months later, something like that. But all the money came out of the wedding and party business. And so, one thing fed the other thing. And the wedding and party business actually was a blessing for us because we didn't have to do the Waikiki thing every night. And we thought, wow, if we did the Waikiki, right, and we did the Waikiki thing every night, that'd be great. When we actually saw what was involved and we saw everything on the inside, it was like, this was a blessing. Even though I didn't like it, because I was like, well, yeah, I want to do what I saw growing up. And when you see it, you go, whew, okay, there's a reason, right? And like I said on the other podcast that we did, about life paths, right? Nobody can stop you from your life path, okay? In some cases, not even you, okay? Now, I went all the way to the left over there in entertainment, and, I got into radio to pursue entertainment, okay? But the vibration pulled me back to teaching. It keeps pulling me back, right? And so, I to the point where sometimes I give up and I say, okay, well, I'll just teach. I'll just do what I'm supposed to do. Because some of us, and I don't believe every one of us, but I believe a lot of us, if we are aware, okay, we have a purpose, and we're supposed to serve the purpose, or at least serve others. And entertainment for me really wasn't serving other people. The only people that I thought I was serving were the customers, or the people, the 2 people that hired us, and the kids that I had perform on the show. Those were the only people that I really thought were benefiting from what we did. People enjoyed our show, but they didn't hire us. They didn't pay a ticket. They didn't, I used to call it hostage entertainment, because 2 people hire us and 350 people have to endure us. You know what I mean? Whether it was good or bad or indifferent, whatever, but that's the way it worked. And so, but when you look back, you go, wow, if I would have gone the other route, it would not have been as profitable. It would not have been as easy. It would not have flowed, so part of vibration is flow. And the funny thing is that sometimes, you really like somebody. Sometimes you really want to hang with certain people. There were people that I wanted to hang with. I had to make a decision. Like, okay, you're going to make this dream come true, or you're going to go hang out and drink and or whatever it is, right? Whatever, and carry on with those guys. What are you gonna do? And it was a sacrifice, and you gotta make sacrifices, Hawaiians. You cannot just say, okay, well, I'm gonna do it all. I'm gonna, I have a life coaching client right now. He's a very wealthy man. He's very successful, very, very successful. See, a lot of people think that you have a life coach to advise you. That's not what life coaches do. Okay, those life coaches that are doing that do not know how to life coach. In fact, a student of mine and I were shooting back Instagram messages, DMs. We're in the DMs, and this is like, I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks ago. And she goes, so uncle, what you doing now? Are you still teaching? You're still doing, what are you doing? You still performing? You still, whatever. And I said, oh, I just, I'm life coaching. I'm teaching voice. I'm doing, everything but entertainment. I retired already. And she goes, life coaching? And I go, yeah. She goes, uncle, you were life coaching before life coaching was life coaching. And I was like, well, yeah, that was true. I was, And so we were doing life coaching, or I was doing life. I have a problem of saying we, because in the business world, you don't say I, you say we. So, but yeah, I was life coaching years before there was even a thing called life coaching. But we were laughing about that. But the real underlying thing about your life path is the people you serve, and the people that you open doors for, and the people that you bring along with you. I know a lot of people that open doors for me, and sometimes they, I mistook the open door for friendship or wanting a friendship, Well, some guys just open the door for me. There was this one guy, I can think of this one guy, and he is, I want to say, a really great soul, this guy. He had a TV show, and he put me on his TV show, right? He didn't have to. He put me on his TV show, whatever. Okay, so the years go by. Then, and I'm, in the meantime, I'm doing radio, right? I was doing I wasn't doing radio full time or anything. I was doing, fill in work, right? But I was doing other things. And, so I was just, we had the school and whatever, consulting company, whatever. But I was doing radio fill in work. And so most people knew me from, being on the radio and whatever. And this guy was a radio guy. And at one point he was working at the same company, and, he was right next door, and I would fill in next door and stuff. And, so I had a girlfriend at the time, and she threw me a surprise birthday party. It was the only, surprise party I've ever had in my life, and I'll never forget it. It was amazing. And, but the funniest thing happened, right? And this is vibration. You cannot surround yourself or be in a group with people with vibrations that don't match you one way or the other, whether they're higher vibration, lower vibration, whatever. Okay. You just cannot, it's not going to fit. Okay. And anyway, so she went around to these guys that she thought were my friends, and my son did the same thing. But that's another podcast, Alliance. But anyway, but she went to these guys, right? And, she told me after the party, she goes, I'm really sorry I couldn't get anybody else to come. And I'm like, what do you mean anybody else to come? Oh, and then she started naming all these guys, right? And I said, oh, they're not my friends though. They're colleagues. There's a difference, and I learned that lesson years and years ago at this toxic work environment radio group that I worked for, way back. And it was very toxic. It was very, but the good thing about it, and that's why I tell you guys got to find the good parts about everything. The good part about it is that I learned skills that I use in my companies today that I've always used since I learned them back then. And this was back in the 90s, in the mid 90s. And the skills that I learned from going through what I had to go through, which at some point was very excruciating mental strain, maybe. I don't want to say distress. It wasn't that bad, but it was very heavy. It was a very heavy mind trip kind of thing. And you could feel it. You could feel it when you walked in, or at least, I don't know, maybe it was just me. Maybe I was the only victim, but I don't know. Anyway, and whatever. But I took away from that some knowledge that I've used in my companies ever since that has served me well. So what I'm really saying, Hawaiians, is that you gotta find the good part. Sometimes we gotta go through some stuff. Like in radio, right? I had to get up early. I had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And people were telling me, wow, dude, you're a madman. You get up at 4 o'clock? And I'm like, yeah. Until today, when I was on a guest on the radio show, I was the first one there. I'm always the first one there. You know why? I'm the first one there, so I don't have to rush. So I can plan. So I can, I'm that kind of guy. I'm not the genius radio guy that things just pop out of my head. I'm not that guy. I used to substitute for a guy like that. Okay, but that's not me. I need to plan. I need to sit there and think. I need to run it through my ADHD brain. Maybe 2 or 3 times, right? And prepare, and then I can move forward with it. So I'm early. A very wise man, a very wealthy man told me one day, because I was always complaining about, this, that, and the other thing. And, how do you do this? And I'm having trouble with this. He goes, what time do you get up in the morning? And I said, no, about 5 o'clock. He goes, what time do you get to the office? And I told him, right? I ran down the whole thing. He goes, why don't you get up at 4 o'clock? Why don't you get up earlier? Plan your day earlier. That way you don't have to rush and you can take your time. You need to meditate. And he ran down the list. You need to say your prayers. You need to meditate. You need to do this. You need to do. If you're going to get up late, you don't have time to do that. Then you're going to be rushing. You're going to throw off your rhythm. And then what? And I stopped and I had to listen. I'm going, whoa, that's exactly the truth. And I didn't know it was the truth till I started doing it. Right. And the law of attraction is the same way. You don't develop an awareness for it until you see it start working, until it starts working in your life. Okay. And like I said, till now, the only thing I know is new car smell. Every time I get in my car, I smell a new car. Every time. I mean, because, new car smell stays for the length of the lease, right? And if it's one thing I can tell you, Hawaiians, it's I would have been driving a used car if I didn't have the guts to pull into the new car place and go, okay, let's do this. And it's just me and God, and I'm just going to listen to God, and it's just the two of us, and yeah, God is real. And that's the whole point of the law of attraction. God is real, and God will bring you who you are, right? He will bring the things that will add to you to be who you are. And that's why they say, first you seek the kingdom. Okay. And then after that, everything's going to be added unto you. Okay. Let's say it another way. Okay. First, you have to be clear on what you want. Okay. And then if you take the steps, like I told you guys in Samantha's story, right? If you take the steps, yeah, some bad things going to happen. Yeah. You might get kicked out of your house. Yeah. You might lose this, lose that, whatever. And that might be part of the process to push you ahead into whatever it is that you think success is, because I can tell you that happened to me. And till today, Hawaiians, like I told you guys on the other podcast about that old timer I talked to, and I asked him, I said, did you ever get professional jealousy? And he goes, what? Till today. He goes, bro, it's still. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, bro, these old guys down the country, they getting drunk in the morning listening to me on the radio. They call me up and they telling me, yeah, we go outside, bro. That kind of thing. And I'm like, wow, it really never gets better than elementary school. I mean, if you can master the elementary school playground, Hawaiians, okay, you can master the law of attraction. It's not that complicated. All right, here's the formula. Okay, first you envision it. Okay, keep that vision in your head. Okay, no matter what you do during the day, you're still focused on getting there, wherever there is for you, or whatever it is for you. It's not always material. Sometimes it could be the ideal girl. Okay, we did an experiment on the radio one time where we wrote down exactly who we wanted to meet, and guess what? She showed up. Okay, and two people did that. Two people did it, right? And I was pretending to do it, but I didn't really want to do it, so I didn't do it. But the other two guys that did it, they met the girl, and it was amazing. But you have to be specific. How many of you do that? How many of you sit down with a pen and paper and go, okay, she has to have blonde hair. She has to be 5'7". She has to, right? I don't know anybody who does that. I mean, I don't do that for girls, but I've done that for other things. And I can tell you, when I've done it for other things, it's always been there every time. It's never failed. Sometimes there were little detours that I had to take out over here to the left, which took some time, right? And then, back, and then boom, right there. But it works every time. And it's your subconscious mind. If you guys need material on this, I will send you PDF books. All you got to do is go to jrkjr.com, right? And just email me and just go, hey, Junior, can you send me the books on the subconscious mind? It's not that complicated, Hawaiians. We were born like this. The thing about society is they make you think. They lead you to believe that you don't have any of this power. They lead you to believe God doesn't exist. God is very real. Our entire universe is intelligent. Every blade of grass is intelligent, Hawaiians. Okay? I cannot even, don't get me started on God, because I will tell you that God is real. It's not necessarily what you hear in church, because, every church is a little bit different, right? You go, even the churches, they go, okay, no, we believe in Jesus. I know several churches that believe in Jesus, and I've gone to several of them, and I get different messages from each of them. So I'm just telling you, right? But whatever you believe or whatever, I will tell you that you are having a very, very sacred and blessed experience, because it is a blessing to be a human being. So if you're aware of this, if you're aware of vibration, if you become aware of this stuff and how to use your subconscious, it's not magic. You focus and things will come into play. You will meet the right people. The right doors will open. And you know what? If the vibration is different, it cannot be. Or it cannot be for long, and I've experienced that many, many times. And you know what? It's a shame sometimes, because we love those guys. And then all of a sudden, they're not in our lives anymore, right? And, my mom was funny. I talked to my mom, and my mom was like, and I told my mom, I said, yeah, I was excited. And I got to do radio again. And my mom goes, you didn't learn from last time. My mom is like, like, I love my mom, right? But she's the reality check. She's like the, what do you call that? Like, she's not buzzkill, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm all jazzed up. I'm like, Mom, hey, guess what? I got to do radio again. And the reason why I wanted to do radio is just to have fun. I haven't had that kind of fun. I haven't been able to laugh and make monkey and stuff like that, right? And my mom just comes in with the other side, and I'm like, no, Mom, you don't understand. And she keeps telling me, she told me 16 years ago, whatever it was. And she told me, she goes, you don't need those guys. And I go, no, Ma, you don't understand. It's not that I need them or don't need them. I want to do that. I want to have fun. I want to do it. I want to be the clown on the radio. I love making people laugh. I love being the idiot on the radio, and I guess in a way she's kind of ashamed, but in a way she goes, well, that's what he wants to do. I mean, my mom is like that. She's like that. And she's not down for the things that I've chosen to do, but she's down for me. And that's why I love my mom. I mean, she's unreal. But yeah, parents can bring you the sobering kind of stuff. So I gotta tell you, oh, sorry, I gotta go. But yeah, I went sober up real fast when she told me that. I was like, oh, Mom, come on. Anyway, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Island Club and Spa, Brother Randy, Sister Jerry at Kaka'ako location. Yeah, I promise I'm going in next week, for sure. Hey, we'd also like to thank AFM Hawaii Music, the home of Darren Chinan. Darren, bro, you gotta check out his music. He's all over iTunes. He's all over the world. Hey, until next time. Oh, wait, I forgot Voice Master Family of Service Companies. Yeah, okay. Anyway, till next time, I'm Junior saying mahalo and aloha.